Coach Wale, my child don't like to write. He's always reluctant every time it's time to write. I have a child in my class that does not like to write. I've done everything possible. When it's time to write, the child will lose interest. When you have a reluctant writer in your class or at home, whether you are doing a homegrown task or activities that involves writing, or you are in the class when it comes to note taking, when it comes to writing, it is very important and critical to really start from a cautionary role, because the natural tendency for you to overreact for a child that can write but it doesn't write is there. And a lot of teachers are caught in this web. A lot of parents are on this table. So I'm here to break the table now. A cautionary information and very, very important behavior for you. Don't force the child to write. The child is not doing that because he lacks or because he intentionally don't want to write. Contrary to the popular belief that it is because they don't want to write, that is why. No, children write according to their capacities. And these capacities takes time to be able to develop. Oh, but he can write. He writes. He did this some days ago. He's doing this. The part that you have currently, as long as you have a reluctant writer, it is better to assume it's a capacity problem than to assume that it's a will problem. If you assume that it is a will problem, you will lose sight of the developmental process of the child in writing. So, it is very important to make sure that you hold yourself. To hold yourself means that you must control yourself so that you don't react out of, place. Now, so what do I do that will help this child to write? We start writing, or we start helping reluctant writers by first helping them to speak. Let them speak about what they want to write. Speaking about what they should write helps them to feel that they have an input in something. Participation will be easy when there is an input from the person that you want to participate. You see, when you write on the board as a teacher, when you give them the homework, maybe from a textbook or from something, and you want them to write it down, you want them to write and they don't write, possibly the child feels that he's not involved. It's just a function of an instruction given to me, and I have to just do it blindly without exercising my will, my choice. However, we need to start them with the speaking. Speak about what you want to write. And what do you want to say? What can you say about this, maybe information? What can you say? Or maybe you even explain after the child has finished speaking. So the first step we take in encouraging reluctant writer is to encourage them to speak or to read what they're about to write. That's number one. The second thing is that you must encourage drawing. You must encourage drawing. Their ability to draw, helps them with creativity, helps them in participation, helps them in loosening up, help them to conquer the fear, help them to conquer the hurdles that involves writing. If it's on the part of inability to write, is different from just someone that is reluctant to write. If you know that the child can write, but he is not writing, that is what we call the reluctant writer. But a child that really does not have the history of writing also can you will kickstart the writing program through, drawings, through scribblings, through pre-writing activities. This is very critical and important because it helps the child to be able to take a pen or take the pencil and start writing. Possibly the child don't want to write because of your reaction and your response. The last time he wrote and he met with a form of reaction from you. As a teacher or as a parent, you must be able to control yourself, especially when it comes to writing. The next thing you need to do for a reluctant writer is to intensify supervision. Intensify supervision. When a child feels supervised, when a child sees that there is a level of supervision, the child will not write out of place, out of course. The child writes according to what is planned. Because when a child writes out of course, to a child, it is not seen as mistake. To a child, it's seen as expression. Wait, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Wale Adejuyiwe. I'm often called Coach Wale. I'm a school management consultant, teacher trainer, child psychologist, amidst so many things that I do in the education space. In this, my channel, I'm going to be speaking to parents, I'm going to be speaking to teachers, school leaders, and even children to help you to be able to see to the total development of the children who are the future of now, to be able to get this information and to enjoy the beautiful episodes that I have for you on this channel. Please subscribe to my channel and click on the notification button so that you can be informed every time I drop my episodes on this channel. Thank you for doing that. And I have juicy works for you on this platform. Thank you. But to you as parents or as teacher, you see the the jargons or what you say, what you call out of course. You see it as a deviation from the way the child is supposed to write. And I'm going to give a practical example. So there is this day that I got into the conflict between a teacher and a child. The child is in elementary 2, or what I can call the grade 2 class. And this child, after writing everything that the teacher instructed, according to possibly what was written on the board, the child decided to have some small drawings by the sides of all the fields in the book. So you have characters. The child drew at the beginning for all the characters. And that got the teacher angry. And the next thing, the teacher reported the child. Why? Because the school, there's a policy of no beating in the school. But I'm very sure that if the teacher had this way, the teacher would actually make a move of beating the child. I got there and, I allowed the child, corrected the child, advised the child, gave a support to the child, and then asked the child to go because I want to spend time with the teacher. Then the question I asked the teacher was, where were you when this were happening? I said, I gave them exercise. I asked them to write. So only for me to see this. I said, supervision is very important. Supervision starts by knowing the capacity and the potential or the ability of the child. So at some point, supervision doesn't mean you are walking around in the class. No, that's not supervision. Supervision means that at intervals, you have a record and a reputation of checking what the children are doing. Because if you don't put supervision in place, once a child finishes writing, some children can even cancel what they have written. Some children can draw with a letter O or with a letter C. There are so many things that a child can do with it. It is said that every child, before the child turns 8 years, is an artist. In case you don't know, this is what happens when you see drawings in the classroom walls, some poems in the living room, a child that was given pen, a child that was given pencil. The next thing, the child goes to the wall and start drawing. They are natural artists until age 8, when they can reason that this is where to write and this is where not to write. So some children see writing as a traumatic experience because of their creativity, trying to test the boundaries of their creativity when writing. And when they try to do that, the reaction from parents or from the teacher is traumatic to them. And after that reaction, it looks as if they became reluctant to write. So you have to intensify supervision when children are writing. Because one of the things that children do when they are bored when writing is that they resort into drawing. They leave writing of letters and numbers, and they go into drawing. This happens a lot. In fact, when they have their notes or they have a jotter for note taking, even in secondary school, you notice that once the teacher starts explaining and said, everybody, stop, some children can't just stop. The next thing is that they take their jotter and they start drawing. What do you do in this situation? Please intensify your supervision at this point. Understand that if you leave the children to themselves, they tend to forget what they are meant to write, and they start playing or drawing with the pen and the paper that they have. It is very important. There's another story. I was in an examination hall assessing how the exam was going, and then I saw that a child stuck in number 2 of the question, and then he started drawing in the answer booklet, not even in the question paper. I just looked at him and I asked him, I said, are you done? You should submit. You should not draw, because I don't think there's a question that asks you to draw. The drawing were just patterns. It involved shadings and putting the shades in patterns. When the teacher of the subject got to the scene, the teacher looked at it and the teacher got, displeased. And why? Because first, you stopped in question 2, you are going to question 4, and then you started drawing. I had to calm the teacher down and tell the teacher, children don't, when they are stuck or when they don't want to write, the next thing they do is drawing. And this is why encourage drawing at a particular point if you want to encourage them to write. Another thing you should do when you have a reluctant writer is that you must practice the habit of writing along with them. This is done at the home front, even though it can also be practiced in the class, especially when you are using individualized education plan that helps you as an evaluator or as an educator to sit with a child that is reluctant in writing. You must try as much as possible as parents, as a mother or as a father, or as a private tutor or as a teacher in the class, try and write alongside with the child. Model whatever it is that the child is reluctant to do. This is how you provide leadership, and this is how you help them to be able to come off the reluctant way of writing. As you have it, you discover that the children begins to master writing. They begin to come out of their shelf. Practice creative writing. Let them draw, and that's it. Let them write biography. Let them write about their future, the future me. Let them write about me in 20 years. When children write in the line of their interest, they forget their reluctant nature in writing. Give them room to be able to express themselves in the place of writing. That is possibly what we call creative writing. It helps a reluctant writer to become a lover of writing, and it helps and build their literacy. If you want a child that does not like to write, if you want him to write, you must know that you have to help him to write not on your terms, but on his terms. But above all, while he's writing on his terms, intensify supervision. Thank you. Thank you for watching. I believe you have learned from this my episode. If you have not subscribed, I would like you to do that and click on the notification button. Also, I would like you to share this with other people that you believe that they can learn also from this, so that we can together have and enjoy the episodes as it comes in a consequent and subsequent manner. Thank you very much for always, and I would like to see you in another episode.